once the opportunity arose for him to close the show, he did it in emphatic style.
Whatever he hits falls.
UMAR AHMED, IFL TV, MTK Global TFL, joined by trainer Dom Ingle, who's made his journey down from Sheffield today.
Yes, we came down today, didn't we? Yeah, we came down today, yeah.
Yeah, you got your man Willie Edgington in action again.
Willie Hutchinson, yeah, the Hutch train. He's going to make an express performance, I think, on Friday. So this is number 10 for him, I think. This is what, I think, maybe his 6th fight with me, I think. So yeah, he's progressing. We've had it's 7, is it? We've had some good fights. We've had some good camps. We know all about Willie, his personality now. He's a great trainer. He's great in the gym. It's a pleasure to train him. It's an very easy job, and you know I'm not gonna put myself out there too much, but this guy definitely in 3 to 4 years' time is going to be a big name, British, European, probably world champion by the age of 26 if he sticks to the plan and he gets the fights put in front of him.
We know the people behind Willie, very powerful people. Yeah. Obviously, you've got yourself as well in a training aspect. I asked him, is he aware of his hype? There's a lot in terms of the boxing world. There's a lot of hype.
I'll answer that question. He probably isn't aware.
He isn't
because it goes over his head. He's not interested in the hype. He's not the hype train. He's the Hutch train. So you know he can fight. If you watch him sparring, you know I've had him sparring cruiserweights, you know light heavyweights, big guys, and for his age, 21 years old, he's very very mature boxing wise. You know, so he's got all the ability, and it's just a case of keeping him on that track, keeping him focused, keeping him moving in the right directions, no distractions, and you know he'll come through.
Talking about cruiserweights, you've got Ivan Garbu going for a European title, defending his European title against Lawrence Coley. Confident he's going to come through that? Yeah,
it's a tough fight. I mean, Coley, you know, I look at him and he's long, he's tall, he's awkward. You know, I just go back to the fight he had. When he boxed Camacho, and like I thought he should have finished him a lot earlier. And the other guy he boxed, Lawrence, was it? Who did he box? Oh, no, I'm saying who did he box for the other guy that Eddie's got, the other cruiserweight?
He's boxed Askin, Chamberlain.
Sorry,
Isaac Chamberlain.
And you know, it was a bit of a Mexican standoff, so to speak. It wasn't an interesting fight, and I do sometimes think if you get a fight like that, you know, it's like he didn't really shine. Even Gabu's a tough kid. He can punch. He's only short, just under 6 foot, but he's very, very powerful. And you know, I think Okoli's rated higher in the world rankings by BoxRec. But you know, he's only a young kid, and Gabu's 30. He got a lot of experience. He's very, very tough. He can take a shot. He can give a shot. So it's going to be a tough test for Okoli. It's his own show. It's his own promoter. So we're up against it. But I think we've got the plan to beat him, and you know, we'll see on the night. All
right, we look forward to it. Dom, I'm sure everyone's asked you today about Billy Joe and Kell Brook. Let's start with Billy Joe. How did that all come about, where you should come back to the Ingle gym?
Yeah, you know, it's like when he left, there was never an issue. I mean, there are big fallouts in boxing, aren't there? People leaving trainers and stuff. But I've been in this game a long time, and you know, you see it for what it is. It's a business situation. I've said in a lot of interviews before, Billy Joe Saunders came to me already made. It wasn't like I put 20 years into him. I put a lot of time into Kell Brook from 10 years old. So, you know, they can come and they can go. It's, you know, it was always ever going to be a one-fight deal with Billy. We had 2 good fights, and you know, he looked good in them fights. And sometimes people fancy a change. Sometimes they think they've learned what they need to know and they move on. And obviously now he's got this big deal with Eddie Hearn. He's moving forward. Sometimes there is a lot of distractions where he is, and who's around. I mean, he trained with Tyson and Ben Davison, and I know what them situations are like. It's difficult when we've got big fighters in the camp. There are situations sometimes when you don't think you're getting the attention that you need. But the one thing, you know, I'm very used to training high-profile fighters together. I've got Liam Williams doing very well, Nicola Adams, Kell, Kid Galahad. You know, look at the performances. I've always got enough time on my hands because I live 1 minute from the gym. I'm never out of the gym. They all get one-on-one training. They all get looked after. So I know what I'm doing. And maybe Billy's just recognised the fact that, you know, that's where he needs to be for these big fights coming up. But then again, you know, he might surprise everybody and clear off after this one. Who knows? But at the minute, I've got the job to train him for this one. Hopefully, he puts in a great performance and he wins, and then he's onwards and upwards to the next one.
Absolutely. A few raised eyebrows when we found that Billy was going to be the undercard of 2 YouTubers. What are your thoughts on it, Dom?
Well, I asked Billy and he just laughed because, listen, as long as my fight's my fight. As long as I get paid what I'm getting paid, I don't care. You know, what else is happening? They're not my weight or whatever. You know, I know what I am. I'm the world champion. They're never going to be world champions, but he does bring in a whole new audience. Whether they get turned on by normal boxing or not, I've no idea. But if you can get some kind of retention from that fan base to follow normal boxing, it's only good for boxing. It's exposure. If not, well, you know, nothing lost.
I guess that is the argument. Billy's always had this criticism, oh, you're not really well known, you're not going to get that Canelo fight, you're not going to get that GGG fight, no one knows you. And if you turn down this opportunity where millions are going to be watching, well, he'd probably get criticised anyway.
I don't think it was ever going to be an option where he would turn it down. You know, like I say, when Billy goes out to into that arena, he's in his mind, he's the main attraction. That's what he thinks. These aren't proper fighters. They're just on the first step of the ladder. They've got a big fan base, and much, you know, a lot of things these days is powered by social media numbers. So, you know, if you're big on YouTube, then there's an audience, and sport and boxing is selling to an audience. So, you know, there's obviously demand for it there. But Billy's doing his own thing. If it raises his profile, you know, even better.
Last one on Billy. Would you like to see him back at 160?
I think that depends on who he's fighting. You know, I think he'd like to see himself back at 160 if he could fight Canelo or Golovkin. But, you know, they've never made a big noise about fighting Billy Joe Saunders, have they? When he wasn't boxing well, they blew him off. Then when he boxed well against Lemieux, they didn't even want to know. So he was in that between a rock and a hard place. So maybe now the money's there and they're all in a position where they can fight each other. Maybe then fights will happen. And if it has to happen at middleweight or super middleweight, let it be. Canelo's moving up to light heavyweight from light middleweight. So how many divisions is that? You know, just to fight a name. And if that's what you've got to do, and he can do it. Obviously, he boxed Rocky Field in I think it was super middleweight.
Super middle, yeah.
So you know, he's taking another step, and he didn't look too good. You know, at super middleweight, he looked heavy, Canelo, and sluggish. And he probably just thought, well, I'll beat Rocky Field in at 50%. So we'll see. You know, I think he'll beat Kovalev. And we'll see then, you know, hopefully Billy gets in that same kind of mix, that he can start fighting these big names and getting the big money.
Kell Brook, Amir Khan did an interview with us the other day. He kind of said that he's open to that Kell Brook fight again, but we've heard that time and time again. Do you believe him, Dom?
Do you know what? I don't really pay much attention to Amir Khan. He's doing a decent job of, you know, getting to these big fights and getting a payday and getting knocked out. That's what he's doing, and if that's the route he wants to go these days, you know, down to him. You know, if it comes off that fight, if that fight comes off, all well and good. It's not something I'm holding my breath for. It's not something I'm particularly bothered about. I'm sure Kell Brook will get fights anyway, regardless of whether it's Amir Khan. So we'll just have to suck it and see.
Sorry just about that. That was Coogan being immature.
Right. He's a big lad, and he's probably got a bit of weight on him. If he can't fit between that big gap, then obviously he needs to get back to the gym, doesn't he? So.
Ignoring Amir for the moment, what would motivate Kell at this point of his career?
I think he just needs big fights, doesn't he? I mean, it's like he's going to box in December. He'll have been out above a year, and this is the point I made to a few people that, you know, he went off and did his own thing last year, and that's all great if you win and you motivate yourself for other fights. He maybe should have boxed 3 times last year in the last 12 months, but he hasn't. You know, so that's another 12 months wasted. When you don't have the performance that you want, I think for him to go out on that last performance, he weren't happy. So I think he's looking for a good performance to go out on. Box in December, maybe 1 to 2 big fights. If he can get, you know, Eddie should be able to get the names now with this big deal he's got. And I think Kell wants to see where he's at before he finishes his career. I don't think he wants to finish his career and people say, well, you never boxed anybody. Even though he boxed Golovkin, even though he boxed Errol Spence. I think, you know, maybe another world title challenge, maybe Khan, who knows. But I think he just wants to have 2 good wins before he finishes his career.
Fair enough. Just closing off on Kid G. I know it was a few months ago now, but a lot of people thought he won the fight against Josh Warrington. How's he been since then?
Well, back in the gym training. He gave a good account of himself, you know, proved a lot of people wrong. I don't think he lost that fight. It was a bit of a bad decision, if I must say. And, you know, remember all the talk before that fight, we don't need Kid Galahad, you know, we're looking for unification fights, we're looking for all these big fights, but, you know, who's Josh Warrington fighting now? It's nobody that anybody, Takusha, whatever they call him. It's hardly the big fights in America that they were going to try and dodge Galahad for. So, you know, Barry's in an eliminator, I think, or a final eliminator. It's coming up soon for that title again. If Josh Warrington's still around next year, I think Barry will find himself back in that mandatory position, hopefully, and we'll see. And this time, maybe we get more favourable terms or a favourable place instead of on Josh Warrington's hometown on his home card. You know, the officials were firmly behind him that night, and it's like I've never seen a fighter miss with so many shots. But you know, he'll have had trouble getting up on Monday morning after that fight, after the big wins against Selby and Frampton, and realised that actually, you know, he's not as good as he thought he were, because he wasn't. I think he got this big idea in his head how good he was, and I think Barry exposed him and made him look too Bob, to coin the phrase. So we'll see. Time will tell. Time will tell.
Dom, thanks for your time today, and best of luck on Friday night with Willie.
No problem.
Cheers.
Once the opportunity arose for him to close the show, he did it in emphatic style.
Whatever he hits falls.